In this segment, we're going to talk a little bit about the lifestyle of the guests who stayed at the Tampa Bay Hotel. In an earlier segment, I mentioned that the hotel was primarily a winter resort. Guests would come down during the chilly months, November through April, escaping the icy northern winters, to enjoy Florida's more mild climate. But let's think about why guests wouldn't want to stay here during the summer months, June, July, and August. Remember, I had mentioned air conditioning hadn't been invented at that time. And if you look at these photographs, you'll see that our visitors were wearing a lot more clothing than we wear today. Ladies, for example, were wearing dresses with long sleeves that went to the ground. And gentlemen, they were wearing long trousers, long sleeve button-down shirts, vests, ties, and jackets. This was considered appropriate attire for going outside. You wouldn't be out in your shorts and your t-shirts. And even the children. Is that what you wear to school? As you look at these Victorian fashions, you'll also notice that the ladies are wearing gloves. And the gentlemen are too. The one on the right is holding his gloves in his hand. That was because it would not have been polite for a lady or a gentleman to go out without their hands covered, especially if they happened to meet someone else on the street. And perhaps the gentleman was helping the lady up onto the curb or out of a carriage. It would not have been polite for either of them to have had bare hands. So looking at their gloves, here we have some ladies' gloves made of nice fine leather. When leather gets washed, it shrinks. So ladies in their traveling case would have had this device called a glove stretcher. What you would do is after washing your gloves, to stretch them out, you would gently insert the glove stretcher into each finger and squeeze to stretch out the gloves. Some other things that ladies would have had in their traveling case included this. Any guesses? I'll give you a hint. They're not sharp. It's a curling iron. But where does it plug in? That's right. It would need to be heated up over the fire. And if you've studied in science, you know that metal conducts heat. So you'd heat this up over the fire and then curl your hair. Speaking of hair, what do you think this is? It's called a hair receiver. After ladies had brushed their hair out, they'd take the hair out of their hairbrush and put it in here and save it for later. Why, you ask? Well, perhaps they would be going to a fancy dinner or a fancy dance, and they needed their hair to be in the latest of fashions. See how her hair is up? Well, perhaps your hair was too fine or too short. You could take your hair from your hair receiver to the wig maker, and he could fashion it an attachment for you so that you would have the latest style just from your own hair. Something else a Victorian lady carried was this. It's called a tussie-mussy. That's kind of a funny name, isn't it? But the tussie-mussy was used to hold flowers because a lady who might be out and about having these nice white gloves on wouldn't want to get her hands dirty should a gentleman offer her some fresh cut flowers that she was more than happy to receive. So she would have this portable flower vase in which to carry her flowers. Now, people staying at the Tampa Bay Hotel didn't get out their cell phones to text their friends about what a great time they were having at the hotel. How do you think they would have sent their messages? That's right, a postcard. They would write their message on the back of a postcard that had a picture showing the places where they were staying. And as you can see from this postcard, they didn't use emojis. This is your room key. It's a lot different from the credit card type keys that we use today for hotels. This key is called a skeleton key. It's called a skeleton key because it kind of looks like bones. And here we have a child's shoe. Notice the heel and how it laces up. Not quite like our high-top shoes today. But as you can see in the picture, this little boy is wearing, the little boy here on the left is wearing lace-up shoes that look similar to that one. The last piece I'd like to talk about is this one. It's called hair jewelry. It's called hair jewelry because, can you guess? There's hair in there. That's what's in the center of this. This piece of hair is from a loved one who has passed away. And the person who had this piece of jewelry made, it's a pin. The person who had this piece of jewelry made wanted to remember the loved one who was no longer with them.